So in 2022, my goal is to buy 200 new properties, retire to the Bahamas, and live off drinking pina coladas. Now that isn't actually my goal, but it's incredibly important to have a goal setting system in place, set lofty goals, and then reverse engineer how you're going to get to that end point. Now this is not some cheesy goal setting video. In fact, I'm going to keep this quite quick and we're going to walk through step by step how you can set your goals for 2022. And if you stick around, I'll even share with you a free goal setting template that you can download today. First off, I think it's incredibly important to review 2021. And in fact, by reviewing my 2021, I could tell you I failed. My 2021 goal was to acquire 4 new properties. That was a bungalow refurb and then acquire and add 3 new buy-to-let purchases to my portfolio. Now, as I started the year with big momentum, I managed to complete on the bungalow refurb and I managed to agree 2 buy-to-let purchases quite early into the year, which meant that I felt like I could take my foot off the gas and ease up a little bit. However, later in the year, as the months went by, unfortunately, one of those purchases fell through. I lost it. And at this point, as I was approaching the end of the year, I was no longer on track to hit my goals. And with a bit of frustration from that, but also I had too much to do in too little time in order to hit those goals. And perhaps if I'd structured my year better than just writing them down on a bit of paper, I would have been able to see this coming. I would have been able to predict it. I'd have been able to stay on top of my property pipeline and kept pushing, kept the momentum going throughout the whole year instead of taking a 3-4 month window where I relaxed a bit. So the lesson to take from that is that by looking at our goals over the year, then quarter by quarter, then month by month, we can stay on top of our goals, on top of our pipeline, and make sure that we stay consistent throughout the year, because consistency beats everything. So now let's take a look at the 4 different types of goals that I like to set, the 4 different sections. Now the first section, of course, has to be property and property related goals, which, as I've covered here, might be like 3 buy-to-let purchases or 4 buy-to-let purchases in 1 year. How much money do you want to achieve from property next year? And how many properties will it take you to get there? Next up is financial goals, which, as I've just said, somewhat comes from property, but also it could be your income from your salary. Or for me, it could be my day job, my commission from my day job, but it could also be my businesses, my property sourcing, my Property X program. How much money am I going to make from those next year? Or what do I want to make from those next year? And how can I divide that to make sure I'm hitting those goals month by month? Section number 3 is lifestyle, because whilst we have big property goals, whilst we have big business goals, it's really important to take time out to spend it with friends and family and set yourself lifestyle goals. For me, that might be going to a few trips in London. It might be a few holidays. It might even be buying a nice car one day. I want to make memorable experiences with my partner, with my family, which I'll look back on with a really fond and happy memory. Last but not least is, of course, fitness. There's no point building, wealth if we don't have life longevity. And the best way we can do that is by taking care of our bodies, taking care of our fitness. So eating the right kind of foods, by going to the gym or working out, however we like to do that, by playing a sport. Through setting goals, we could look at perhaps, I might want to lose 4 kilos over the next year, or I might want to put on 2 kilos of muscle. And we can break that down once again, quarter by quarter, month by month. So now we've seen the 4 subsections to how I like to set those goals. Now let's do the fun part. I've already mentioned to you, I'm going to be sharing a spreadsheet with you. Well, let's have a look at that spreadsheet and I'm going to show you how we might position those goals over the next year. So here it is, the goal setting spreadsheet. So at the top here, we literally have those 4 sections that I've just mentioned, and you're just going to list out your goals for next year. So these aren't my goals, but I've taken perhaps what the average person might put down as their goals, and then we can look at how we're going to split them up over the year. So to start with, let's take this person, let's call him Jeff. This is Jeff's goals for next year. Now, Jeff has chosen to purchase 2 BRR buy-to-let properties and 1 turnkey. So a total of 3 property acquisitions for 2022. He wants to earn 45K from his salary income. Now it's important for him to write that down, because if he doesn't focus on that, because he's in a part commission role, he might only earn 38,000. So by setting that 45,000 salary income, he's going to be constantly working towards that goal. Now, with those 3 properties that he's put in the first section, he wants to use those to add £9,000 of profit from property. So approximately 3,000 per property from the profit. And it's incredibly important to link the financial side of property to the number. It's no good just saying I want to buy 10 houses. There's got to be some structure behind that. Why do you want 10 houses? Is it because you need X amount of money? Well, that should be your primary focus. If you want to get to a point where you're earning £3,000, £4,000, £5,000 per month from property, you should start there, then work your way back with setting your property goals. Obviously, the total income, therefore, at the end of the year would be £54,000 or be looking to move into £54,000 as those acquisitions are made. And then of course he's looking to also save £10,000 over the next year because he's earning good money now. So, let's put some money aside, let's save that. Maybe you look to put it into an ETF or stocks or maybe even crypto. Then lifestyle, he wants 2 holidays, he wants to purchase a Tesla, he wants to see his family more and be present in life, which is, again, it's an important thing to look into 2022, look at those goals, but then remember, stay present in current life. Last of all, he wants to reduce his body fat by 4 kilos and run a half marathon. So they're the 4 sections of goals we've covered. Now you might look at how he's going to break them down quarter by quarter. So this is how we're going to keep it realistic and we're going to keep the momentum going throughout the year. So quarter 1, we're going to be looking, or Jeff's going to be looking at buying 1 buy-to-let, 1 BRR, okay? So he wants to find it, negotiate it, make sure it's obviously buying at the right level, and then add that property to his pipeline. So he's going to get it into legal. So once that property completes, he's added an additional 3,000 profit per annum. He's of course over that quarter, his salary should be coming in around 11,250 and he needs to save just under £2,500. Quarter 2, not much changes on the financial side of things, but again, needs to be looking at acquiring another BRR buy-to-let. Now, Jeff, in this instance, has actually run out of money with that first one. All of his money's going into the deposit, the fees and the refurb. So for this second one, he's going to be looking at private finance, working with an investor, so that he can raise the capital and continue growing his portfolio rather than relying on constantly saving his own money. Quarter 3, same again. He needs to add, this time it's a turnkey buy-to-let. He's got a couple of BRRs on the go, and with the big refurbs going on there, he wants to keep this one more simple, just buy a turnkey buy-to-let, get it rented out, get it cash flowing from day one. So there you can kind of see that by spreading those goals out quarter by quarter, we keep it realistic and we keep things moving throughout the year. Now, taking it into even more granular detail, we're going to be looking at month by month. So of course, in this part, I'm just going to also mainly focus on this property section, and the reason being is we're a property channel. So we've looked at what he needs to earn financially each month. We can see that here he's put in the holidays and he wants to buy a Tesla later in the year, and we can see his fitness goals. But looking at the property goals, we can see that look, if he starts off in January, he's probably not going to get anything agreed. He's going to be doing viewings, going to be making offers, going to be negotiating with the goal of negotiating and getting something accepted for February. So in February, secures that first BRR, it then moves into legals, then the exchange of completion, then the refurb, and then the refinance. Because we've got to look at that as, as a whole picture. It's not just going to happen, don't just get it agreed and it goes through. It's a real 5-6 month process. So add that to your goal setting calendar, your diary, because you need to be able to make sure you're keeping track and keeping up to date with this in order to hit your goals. Number 2, secure number 2, well, that's just going to be falling into, quarter 2. So March, April time, it's going to be, again, making those offers, hopefully getting one accepted, raising that private investor finance in order to move forward on that BRR number 2. Again, it goes into legals, it exchanges, you've got the refurb, the refinance, and then it rents out. And then last of all, again, securing that turnkey buy-to-let. So it's got to keep those wheels in motion, because once you've got 1, maybe even 2 properties agreed, you kind of feel like you need to step back a bit. You might be a little bit short on money and think of, I've got quite a few things going on right now, I'm a bit stressed. But if you do that, you'll then miss your goals. So actually what you need to do is look at it from a bigger picture and go, yes, I am busy. Yes, I have got a lot on, but I can continue to hit those goals, because if I don't make offers in June, July, I'm not going to get my last turnkey property secured and then exchanged and completed before the end of the year. So that's the template that I'll be sharing with you. If you would like a copy of that, please use the link below. I'm going to be doing some follow-up training for this. So if you want to start or scale your property business in 2022, download this, fill it out, and get ready to join me on Monday the 3rd at 7 p.m. for some live training on YouTube, which I'm going to tell you how you can put this to use, how you can start your property business, and even if you've got 1 or 2 properties, how you can then look to scale it and make sure that 2022 is a really successful year for you. Don't forget to download the template. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.